Happening, lads. It's 2025, man, but new content cop dropped. Senzawa might be coming back. Like, we really are fucking going back in time. It's quite wild to see, honestly. You know what? I'm kind of here for it. It's crazy though. Like, so yesterday, iDubbbz, a YouTube classic, came out with a new content cop about Ethan Klein, about H3 Productions, and like that was like I think it's like a weird thing to talk about because like if you agree with Ian or if you agree with Ethan on it, you kind of are giving like a political stance, I think, because it is kind of, like everything's politics at the end of the day. You can't get away from it. But like this in particular, like there's a lot of eggshells I feel that are getting walked on with it. So I feel like you gotta be careful when you talk about it. But like, I'm not even really here to talk about kind of being like, I believe that Ethan's right here, or Ian's right here, or whatever. I'm just here to talk about like the sexual tension that you feel in that video. And like, I'm not saying that Ethan and Ian should kiss, but you know what? If they did, I wouldn't be mad. But what I am saying is like it really does feel like after watching it and kind of seeing some of Ethan's responses to it, it really does feel like two mates that just have fell out a wee bit and like they probably should be talking about it maybe behind the scenes. And I don't know how messy it is behind the scenes. If you listen to a few other people, like Ethan's not replying to DMs and stuff like that, so maybe they already have tried and this is kind of a last ditch effort to kind of maybe try to reach him, right? Who really knows? Maybe we'll never know. I, for one, definitely don't know. But it does feel like just kind of two mates that have kind of fell out. And, like, you can kind of see why then Ethan's kind of mad about it, in my opinion, because, like, you've got the Child Protective Service side of it in particular. That's the bit that kind of stands out the most to me, that makes me think the video is quite poorly timed. And Ethan brings that actually up himself and, like, his response to it, where he's kind of like, yeah, like, you're my pal, and, like, you like said you didn't want to have like a public opinion on everything and you weren't willing to talk about the child protective stuff as a result of that, but then you make an hour long video about me and it's like that hour long video would have had to have a script. It probably had multiple takes, you probably wrote a script, you've either edited it or you've had your editor edit it, but no matter what, that means there's probably been hours of going through clips and maybe even months if not weeks, or weeks if not months, sorry, of research and stuff like that's went into this video. So like it's kind of weird to say that you're not willing to kind of take an opinion on it and then you drop a video where you have an opinion on it and it's quite critical of Ethan, and it's like, I don't know, that's not really cool, I don't think. But then at the same time, like I do see it as well, like like a lot of people, I feel it's kind of like a common thing to say. The last thing I kind of kept out of Ethan was the frenemies stuff. I just didn't really like how frenemies ended, and it kind of made me fall away with Ethan. But like I've been following Ethan for years, like a lot of people, like he was always just kind of one of those names. H3 Productions was just a staple name of YouTube, and it probably still is to a lot of people. It's just, after the frenemy stuff, I just kind of fell away from it. But like, I do feel like you watch a lot of the clips, and I know because I'm not listening to the podcast on like a weekly basis or anything like that, a lot of these clips are going to be out of context. But like, sometimes you listen to them, you're like, damn man, like that's harsh. Like, I do feel Ethan does take it a bit far sometimes, like he does tell people to KYS. He does, kind of throw like names at people. Like he calls people Nazis and R words and all these horrible things. And it's like, man, like, is there even any proof of this? Like that's a really hard thing to say about someone without any proof. Like the CEO of Twitch in particular, he said some stuff about him that is like, yeah, like is there proof? Is there proof of this? Like he's the CEO of Twitch. Like obviously, he's a millionaire, if not a billionaire. Like the man's probably not clean. Like you don't become a millionaire as a saint. Like that's not how it works. But to say those things about him, like I don't know, man. That's a lot. That's a lot to be saying about someone without really having any concrete proof. Like I do feel that Ethan does take it far sometimes. Like he's one of the only kind of YouTubers of that era. The Filthy Franks, the Max Mofos, the iDubs, you know, the Ians of the world, that I feel kind of still throws around a lot of that language, you know, even though he's kind of he's pivoted and like everyone else, he's tried to kind of, you know, make himself a wee bit better and a bit more like aware of things, and he tries to understand maybe other perspectives on things. He still throws around a lot of really mean language, you know, and he's definitely crashing out sometimes. Like at least that's how it appears when you see these kind of like, you know, moments. You know, you're like, oh my god, like, you know, you should maybe talk about that to someone privately. Like I feel putting that online for millions to watch is just, oh, that's a lot. But yeah, no, like I feel that's kind of the brunt of it, is like watching all of it. That's just kind of how it feels to me. Is it just kind of feels like mates falling out, you know? Like it feels very personal. Like Ian has some good points in the video, I won't lie. Like the whole thing about like the button. I didn't know about this button thing. Um I didn't realize how much he relied on it. This idea that he kind of had a button that he hits to make sure that he doesn't kind of cross a line. Like the fact you need that is insane. Like I feel like if you're a podcaster in particular, that you should be a lot more aware of what language you're using and how you're constructing sentences, because you know you're trying to come across with a point. And I guess maybe that's kind of part of it. Like it is tabloid, his podcast, at the end of the day, like many podcasts, you know, it is kind of there to make you kind of like, you know, it's there to kind of be extreme and eye-catching and clickbaity, so perhaps maybe that is part of the sell, you know, but still, like, I feel it's a bit much, you know, especially for kind of like how he tries to advertise himself. But yeah, no, like I think it was an interesting video. It was nostalgic, I won't lie. Like I feel like a lot of people have said that. Like it was just nostalgic to kind of see, like I was saying at the start, like Senzawa might be coming back with the Gargura retirement, and now like an iDubbbz content cop dropping. It was nice to see, you know, to some extent. Like it is still not really the kind of video you want to see, especially today. Like you don't want, me in particular, maybe it's not a common thing to say, but you know, you don't like people calling people out publicly like that, like for anything. Like obviously sometimes it has to happen, like if someone has been like a horrible person and that they need to, people need to know that this person's been horrible behind the scenes or something like that, you know, sometimes that you just need to get it out there. But like this doesn't really feel like that. This kind of feels more like all of this has already been said by other people. Like it's already well known. I feel like if you have an opinion on Ethan, like most people watching this video, I feel will already be going in with an opinion on Ethan, and I don't really, from kind of the what I've seen people talking about it, it doesn't really seem that many people's opinions have changed. Some people have mentioned that they've maybe kind of became more aware of maybe Ethan kind of maybe needing a bit of help behind the scenes or something like that, maybe needs to talk to someone. But like, you know, like it's not like the Rice Gum or the Leafy content cop where like, you know, they drastically kind of changed their public image. Like I feel from what I've seen so far is that Ethan's image hasn't really changed off of it. But then that's also maybe a good thing for the audience. Maybe that's a pat on the back for everyone, because like they're not letting this one video kind of completely change their opinion on someone. Perhaps maybe they can see that this person might need some additional support and things like that, but they're not like, oh, this person's horrible, you know, nothing like that. But yeah, no, like I said, it was a bit nostalgic to see, which was cool. Like, I did like his little intro, that was quite fun. It was a shame he destroyed the content cop, like, outfit, though. Like, that shit could have been in a museum, man. You know, like that really could have went in a museum. Like, you know, like, and I feel it would have been cute if he wore it for the show, you know, but he changed it into kind of just his normal clothes for the looks of it, for kind of, like, the duration of the video. Which is, like, whatever, you know, like, he kind of has changed his outfit, obviously, like you've kind of seen, or like how he kind of presents himself online anyway, you know, physically. So maybe that's kind of part of it, is like, you know, the content cop, like, because he does kind of destroy it, like, which kind of makes me think, is this the last content cop? You know, like he's kind of, he rips it off, you know, like is he tearing that apart? Is he kind of being like, I'm done with this? And if that is the case, like, I don't know, man, like, is it like, is this a good one to end on? Is this the content cop to end all content cops? I don't think so, because it's like, it's not a bad content cop and it's not a good content cop. Like, it's just kind of like meh. Like it really does just kind of feel like mates falling out, especially when he's talking about that editor. his editor who like he kind of had a falling out with, and he said like, oh, some of the stuff he tweets like I'm okay with, and some of the stuff he tweets I'm not okay with. Oh, sorry, this is what Ian was saying about his editor. Like that kind of feels like, you know, those mates you have where you're like, ah man, like why you got to say that, like, you know, like maybe even tell them like, nah, you can't be saying stuff like that. That's mean spirited, or that's just wrong, and you have that conversation with your mate. It kind of came across as that, as like he was like he's his mate, like he does respect him, but like, you know, he sometimes says some stuff and you're like, oh, like you can't say that, you know. So like it's kind of weird that he does that for him, but then he won't do that for Ethan. But then, like, so it kind of once again makes me feel that there's either more to it, or there's just kind of maybe a bit of a double standard there. Maybe he sees his editor as more of his mate now than he sees Ethan, which once again is like, you know, that's life. You fall out with people, you distance yourself from people, you know, people change. But it didn't really come across as that, because at the end he kind of goes like, nah, like Ethan, like I'm with me and a few other people are going to say some nice stuff about you, because like, you know, we want to affirm that you are a good person. We do respect you. It's just, you know, you sometimes say some stuff that makes us think that you need a wee bit of help, or you should maybe, you know, have a conversation with these other people to kind of broaden your perspective on you know, the Israel Palestine situation. But like it's just hard to say, honestly. It just felt strange. It felt strange. It felt like a react. It was a reaction, you know. Like it felt like he made it in reaction to what's been going on recently with Ethan, and the kind of telling Ian to kind of take a public stance on it, because like he wanted to, he kind of, you know, he wanted his mate to stand up for him and stuff like that. This kind of felt like a reaction to that, in my opinion. Like it didn't feel like something that Ian was originally planning on doing. It felt different, you know. But that's not bad. You know, it's just kind of how things are. But that's my 2 cents on it. Like I don't really care about the political side of it. Like, and I don't really want to get into the political side of it, honestly. Like I kind of was more interested in kind of how it, like, because I feel that like, while being important, because a lot of Ethan now is politics, a lot of his content now is politically aimed and stuff like that, which is, you know, valid. Like make the content you want to make and all that. But like this, like it didn't feel like that was why he made the video or anything like that. It does feel like he was kind of trying to reach out to his mate. Why that had to be an hour long YouTube video that now people are critiquing and kind of, you know, and making people kind of either agree with iDubbbz or disagree with iDubbbz, and causing kind of more discourse. Like I feel this video has caused more of a discussion. If that's a good discussion or a bad discussion, we'll need to wait and see. But like it's kind of it feels a bit kind of, you know, it kind of feels like a bit of not great in my opinion. Like it feels like it's going to cause more bad than good, honestly. But you know, hopefully not. Fingers crossed everything turns out all right. But I like that's my kind of 2 cents on the situation, lads. I would love to hear yours as well. I'm interested in seeing where this will go, honestly. And I hope that I made at least 1 point in this fucking like 10 minutes of me saying nothing. But aye, lads, I'll talk to you later. It's the fucking Easter weekend, so it's gonna be fucking class. Got lots planned. Gonna do some streaming. Gonna go and see some people in real life. Gonna have some vibes, you know. Catch up on some manga and shit like that. I've been reading, try and pick up some novels. I picked up the Tom Bombadil book, which is kind of like a mix of just different adventures of Tom Bombadil is what it's called. And I don't really know, honestly, too much about it. I know it's like it obviously wasn't released in Tolkien's lifetime, but I believe the stories kind of come from like a collection of notes and stuff like that he left. So I think it's more of like a kind of a collection of stories more than anything. But I'm interested in reading it. That's what I'm probably going to be going to get up to during the Easter weekend. I'm going to try and make more of these little videos as well. Kind of want to try and do one a day, which is why yesterday we kind of talked about Oblivion and we talked about Gargura. Today we kind of talked about you know, Ethan and the content cop. I want to try and make one a day. Try and get a wee bit better at this, you know. So day 2 is over, lads, and hopefully I'll see you again soon, right? Enjoy your time, man. Enjoy.